Alright guys, everybody, welcome to the weekly Sloth race. This week we're going to be doing Boulder Dash. This is actually a game that has not been run in quite some time. And as far as any of us can tell, there's no established world record, so we're going to set one today. We have 4 different runners for you. Pichi, who is a Donkey Kong Country speedrunner. Poisoncurls, who runs Mega Man X and Lion King. Actually the current world record holder for easy difficulty in Lion King. We have Square One, and we have Xatmamune, who was our commentator a couple of weeks ago on Snake Rattle Roll, and also holds the world record for that game. But the story for Boulder Dash is pretty interesting. It's not a platformer like you're used to seeing on our show. It comes down to pure execution and just a little bit of RNG. And it all comes down to buffering your movements, up, down, left, and right. But the story is that your father, Stoneford, an old adventurer, ill in bed, called his son Rockford to his side. Handing Rockford an old map, he said, "My son, you must take up the quest that I never completed. Find the secret jewels of the 6 worlds, and you'll be rich beyond your wildest dreams." These were his final words. As Rockford, you have to outmaneuver swarming enemies, avoid being crushed to death or trapped by falling objects, and collect the jewels before finding your way to the exit tunnel of each level. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? But we're actually going to go ahead and get started. So anybody that has eyes on the bot can count us down. Guys, anyone? Hello?
1 remaining.
Okay. Who's going to count us down?
Go.
And we're off. Alright, so the first few worlds, this is Boulder World. And this is just to kind of introduce you to the movement of Rockford. This may look simple, but it really is not. You only got a few frames to change directions. And obviously in this world they're just trying to optimize movement. It's shaped like a giant reverse S, and the premise of the game is that you have to collect the specified number of diamonds to be able to unlock the exit tunnel. And all 4 racers making it without too much problem. We're going into World 1-2. This one's sort of a grid formation, and this one actually has a couple of enemies in it that you have to watch out for. These bugs, they're actually pretty predictable in their movement patterns, so you can predict what they're going to do and route the map accordingly. They either go clockwise or counterclockwise, and they always hug just that one wall. And it is possible to trap them either in negative space or just get them on an infinite loop by digging out a circular hole. But there are other things you have to watch out for just besides the bugs. Hasn't happened yet, but the boulders actually can crush you, as can the diamonds. You notice whenever they dig out the negative space that the boulders will actually fall down. Oh, Pichi just got crushed. That's a tough death. And whenever you die, you have to start the level over. You lose a little bit of time. The other 3 guys finding their way to the exit. Now, 1-4 actually introduces you to your second way to collect diamonds. The first is you can actually collect them. They're just free in the level, and all you have to do is move to them and collect them. The second one is, Poison with the death in 1-4. The second way to collect diamonds is actually to kill some of these bugs. These butterflies actually drop diamonds whenever they are killed. Just like that, you can see on Poison's screen. But Zat actually out to the early lead. He's already in 2-1 at the end, and that one was pretty good. You unleash the bugs. There's nothing to kill them with. You just have to sort of outmaneuver them and grab the diamonds. And now he's on to 2-2, and this is the same principle, but it's not just an open level, so you can actually be crushed by falling mammoths as well. Those are the boulders in this stage. But each of these runners has been working on these routes for a week. That's all the time that they've had. So the level of execution for this game is pretty high for only having a week to practice. Xat on to 2-3. Now, Xat's actually demonstrating the third way to collect diamonds, which is trapping the amoebas. Those little blue goos down there that you see growing, they grow in a random direction, and they turn into diamonds whenever they get trapped with nowhere to go. So between the amoebas and the diamond collection from the free ones that were just in the level, he's out of there. Wow, so Xat on to 2-4. And he's actually about to demonstrate the final way to collect diamonds, which is the enchanted wall. Now you see that each of these mammoths, as they fall through this little wall, they turn into diamonds. And that's how the enchanted wall works. So it's a note that they cannot be sitting on top of it. They actually have to fall at speed through the enchanted wall, and there has to be negative space below the wall to catch them. So it's important to hollow out the space required beforehand. Poison working on trapping the amoebas, and Xat is on to 3-1. This one's the hourglass level, and there's some pretty interesting movement that goes on. You can be crushed very, very easily or easily trapped. So you see Xat, Xat taking a death. Case in point. The hourglass level is vicious, but these guys have been routing this. Normally there's two different sections with the hourglass where you can just wait for all the diamonds to fall down, but that's not very conducive to speedrunning now, is it? And Xat has a route on the other side to grab the remaining diamonds, and he's out of there. Nicely done. Don't know if I mentioned it, but World 2 is actually called Ice World, and World 3 is called Sand World. This level that Xat's going into right now, it's pretty brutal because you cannot get all these diamonds without releasing at least one of these bats. And he's going to go for, he just released them. But again, their RNG is very predictable, so he was able to wait for them to clear out of his way, and now he's just making a way straight for the exit. Hey Cradboard, how you doing, man? Stormcrow, guys, welcome to the Sloth race. Alright, this is a pretty interesting one. 3-3 in Sand World. This one's all about movement and not getting trapped. Some of these skulls can actually fall down, and some of them can actually block your only way out. Xat making quick work of that one. But this is classified as a puzzle game, and that's exactly what it is, for the most part. It gets a little squirrely in the later levels, but this is a puzzle game because you have to think through each individual movement. And sometimes you'll see Rockford just kind of get stuck there, and that's because they've missed their frame on an input. This game is extremely tough as far as the movement goes, especially once you have to start killing stuff. And yep, see, Xat actually just demonstrated blowing through a wall. Whenever you kill an enemy, it actually blows up a 9 square ring around it, and it actually takes out everything except for the side walls, which are permanent. But any internal walls can be blown up by killing an enemy, and actually you're going to see a lot of that through the rest of this race. Alright, so Xat is on to Ocean World. This is where it gets kind of squirrely. You're going to see there's an amoeba swarm growing at the top, but that's not actually the quickest way to beat this level. The easiest way to beat the level is to chain kill these octopi here, which is exactly what Xat just did. You kite them up to the top and you let them run into the whatever, those little spinning heads. And Xat's through 4-1. Square one onto the hourglass level. Pichi making his, or Poisoncurls making his way to 3-2. And Xat giving 4-2 a try again. There's a very interesting setup. It's sort of like a chain kill. You don't have to kill all of them. All you have to do is stay out of their way and kill 2. And that's what he did. And he's on to 4-3. And this is another example of the enchanted wall. You've got all the heads falling down there and you're going to get collected. The trick with this one is not to release the puffer fish there that will kill you. Xat's moving fast. He's making it look easy, isn't he? But this game is not easy. It's one of the harder ones that we've ever done. Yes, that's my dog in the background snoring, and I don't have the heart to kick her out of the room, so you got to put up with her. I'm sorry. Hey, stud bud. Now, the level that Xat's in right now, that's another enchanted wall, but you do have to kill an enemy to blow through the sidewall to be able to have access to collect the diamonds. So, combination of strats. You can see that the levels are getting just a little bit more intricate as the game goes on. And if you think this is bad, wait a while. And just like that, Xat is already through World 4. Now he's into World 5, which is Relic World. Got these weird little vines here. Now this is a very interesting one, because there is a time save in this world that you would not expect. Let's see if Xat pulls it off. Now you see all the diamonds in this phase, they're free. You'll see that they're over on the side of the map. Oh, the death, tough death. Now, what Xat was going for there, he was trying to blow through that double wall. The exit is actually right above him where he starts in the level. And if you can kill 2 enemies at just the right time, you blow a hole in that wall and you don't have to go back around through the level, which is a huge time save. But there's nothing tricky about the level. You just have to get all of the diamonds and get out. There it is. He got it. So all the diamonds are free to collect. Waits for the bug out of the way. Now he's into the exit tunnel. Good one, dude. Alright. 5-2. This one's really interesting. Most of the kills are just free. All you have to do is walk under the boulders and let them fall down. But this last one's pretty interesting. You can release that bug, and that bug can cause major headaches for you trying to collect all the diamonds and get to the exit. But it looks like Xat kept him trapped. Yep. And that's how that's done. Looks easy, but it is not. And of course you have to release those 2 little bugs right there, but you can do a single frame grab, just knocking out the vines, get them out of the way of the exit, and just their predictable movement makes them follow you, so all you have to do is run around. Now, the level Xat's on right now, this is crazy. You have to kill 2 bugs, or 3 bugs, to be able to get the required diamonds for the exit. There's 10 over here in the corner that you can collect. Now, 2 more bugs to kill, but you also have to get your way out, because the exit is contained. There we go. Nice. The exit's contained in a walled off section, and there you go. Xat's killing him. He's collecting the remaining diamonds, and he's out of there. But you can see how that was contained. You actually could not get out unless you killed the bug in that specific position. All right, 5-4. Now this one's more about your bug management, I guess, and just your speed of movement, because those bugs do come after you. Is that getting out of their way? And now it's just a puzzle to see about getting the remaining diamonds and getting out of there. And you have to blow a hole again to get... Man, he does it faster than I can talk about it. Yeah, I'll say again, all 4 of these guys have only had a week to prepare for this race. This is not something that they've been doing for weeks or months. Actually they've only had 7 days because we originally planned to do Star Fox this week. So they didn't have that much notice at all. So this is 6 days of routing and constant practice. It's an insane amount of skill and preparation that they've been able to pull off. My thanks to all of them. Yep, Xat just blowing his way through his walls, gaining the remaining diamonds to the exit. This is Volcano World. This is World 6 that he's on right now. And it's hard. Wow, that was really fast. Okay, so World 6-2 starts off with some falling skulls, and you have to avoid them. Looks like the last one caught Xat. Yeah, that's a tough way to start a level. Then you actually have to go down. Oh, second death. Oh, is that having a little bit of trouble in 6-2? You have to have perfect movement, down to a few frames to be able to get through that. There you go, he made it that time. Square one, actually in second place right now. Using a different strat to be able to get those diamonds. But he got caught. Oh! I missed it, but that had another death. Now there's no real game over mechanic here, but if you die too many times, you will have to start the world over, which is a huge time loss. Not so much if you were on the first world and gamed over, but if you were on 3 or 4, you're looking at a pretty significant time loss. Pichi's over on 4-1, just finishing up. And Poison making it to Ocean World for the first time. You see the strategy Xat's using. He's just strategically letting these bugs out one at a time. Grabbing all the remaining diamonds, blowing through walls. Boom. I think that should be enough. Yep, he's out of there. Good job, dude. Now this next stage that Xat is going into, this is 6-3, and it's the one that actually contains the largest amount of RNG in the entire game. So you see the amoeba swarm right there. You have to be very, very quick, or you're going to get trapped. Oh, and that's exactly what happened to Xat. The amoeba swarm grows, and the only way to get out of this level is to trap them and turn them into diamonds. And you need quite a few, 65 to be precise. And each one of these guys have a strat down to be able to control the growth and be able to trap them. And that's what Xat's done. So now we wait. It's completely random which direction the amoeba grows. But you have to wait for that entire negative space to be filled up with amoebas before they will turn themselves to diamonds. And if he's done it right, he will have it down almost to the precise diamond that he needs, and then he will be into the last level. While we're waiting, let's take a look. Square 1 looks to be that's 4-3 that he's in. He's using the enchanted wall, killing a pufferfish there. Nice. He's just thinking his way through, trying to get all the diamonds out of there. Nice, dude. Nice. Just like that. He's on to 4-4. As is Poisoncurls. They're actually neck and neck. And Pichi just started World 5. He's on 5-1. Let's see if he gets that double wall hit to be able to save the time. Meanwhile, Xat in 6-3 finishing up. Got all of his diamonds. Good job. Ooh, Poison with the death. But Square did it. He made it through. Oh, okay. Pichi didn't get the double wall hit. It's pretty tough. Square just being very careful. He got the wall blow, so he doesn't want to have to redo the level now. Xat's over on the final level of the game, and you can see that he has to blow through a ton of walls. Those bugs that are trapped up there, you have to go down through the, I think it's 4 different bugs that you have to kill. 5 if you count the exit. Boom, he's out of there. That's it. Wow. 1920. 1927. Holy crap. Well, there's your world record, guys. Boulder Dash for NES, 1 cycle, world record, 19 minutes, 27 seconds. Congratulations, Xat. Holy cow, Xat, if you want, you can come back into the Discord call and talk about your run a little bit whenever you get done.
Hey, how's it going?
All of them now. You see, they're all on Relic World, so still a relatively tight race. Pichi on 5-2, Poison on 5-1, and Square on 5-1. Now, he's not going for the double wall blow strat. He's just trying to get enough diamonds without releasing all of the bugs there, which he managed to pull off. Square's doing a great job. You see the exit there that's open. Now he's just going to have to dodge some of these bugs, and I think he's got it.
Oh, yeah, he's got it.
Boom.
Looks like Poison's doing the same thing, getting all the gems. He has enough gems now, too. He might not realize he has enough, though.
Poison has the... Poison got too many diamonds there, and he released the bugs. You gotta... Oh, nice.
Oh, maybe he's going to blow it up on the second go-around instead.
He's just
Looks like it failed. That is too bad. I mean, it only loses about 15 seconds, though. And so long as he doesn't die, like, a painful death for Poison.
Tough death.
So it looks like Pichi had to continue and is starting back at 5-1.
5-2. And he's taking a little bit more of a measured approach. He's killing all the enemies a few at a time, and then collecting the diamonds, just using the safe strats. Don't blame him, this level's hard. Poison collecting the diamonds there.
Looks like Pichi got the double wall kill for 5-1.
The exit. It's going to take the long way around. Nice.
Seems like Poison's taking the not worrying about the double wall kill. It seems like the bugs are behaving a little bit. Yeah, he should have a clean getaway.
Okay, so I think Square One's going to try to kill that final bad guy.
Oh, I don't know if you just saw Poison's screen. He almost died.
Can just collect
Oh, that is so sad. Sorry if I was over talking you about Poison. Yeah, Poison just had another horrible death. So, oh man.
There you go, Pichi. I see Pichi killed all the enemies at once, and he's going back and collecting all the diamonds after.
Yeah, if you can get the
Which is
setup,
faster.
killing them all at once is
It's
definitely quicker.
strat because you got more to calculate. Ooh, Square taking the rough death, trying to release the bugs and get out of 5-2.
Yeah, World 5 can certainly be a pain in the butt. It's the first world where you have a lot of close calls with enemies.
Let's see if Pichi can release the bugs. The answer is no. Yep. World 5 is where this game gets really, really tough. You have to combine all the previous elements of the game. Killing, blowing through walls, enchanted walls, amoebas, pretty much everything in a combination is... and the movement gets so much more precise, especially in 5-3.
I've noticed something though, that in the previous worlds, like World 1 and World 2, you've got nice poison. You've got a lot of open space. Like there's just oodles of open space. But once you get into the later levels, like 5 and 6, everything is tight corridors.
See that boulder there that Pichi's pushing out of the way? You got to be careful with that, because if you just go straight down for the diamonds, it will fall off and crush you. It happened to me many times. All right, let's see if he can release those 2 bugs and wrap around. There we go. That's how it's done.
Nice.
Good job. Poison's killed all of his enemies. He's just going back to collect the diamonds. Now, the level that Pichi's on, the precise movement that's needed to outrun that boulder while it's constantly falling after you is something that I could never do.
There are a couple spots on when you're zigzagging that if you fail the zigzag, you're okay, but not all the squares.
He did pull it off twice in a row. Now, the idea, Pichi's strat for this, I was watching him earlier, his idea is to release both of these bugs and let them start making their way up to the top of the level, where you have to use the boulders that are up there to... ouch. You have to use those boulders to kill those bugs, one of which has to be... giving him the way to the exit. But yeah, Pichi just took a tough game over, which means he has to go all the way back to the start of the world, and now he has to do this crap again.
I see on Square, he's zigzagging a boulder down to the bug below.
Yeah, Poison just positioning the boulder. And boom. Poison back on 5-1. Stuff is really easy to do in practice, but I guess in the middle of a race, the nerves take over. Heck, I get nervous commentating about it.
Yeah, the nerves are starting to get to me for sure.
You still have Zat in the call? We want to have our winner.
Do you not hear me?
We'll get Zat here in a moment to talk about his run.
Well, I hear both of you guys.
I can't really hear you, Zat.
Do you have me muted in Discord?
Yeah, I hear you talking. I just can't hear you in my headphones. Weird. Do you still have your mic muted?
Other people... is that better?
Muted.
Weird.
Can you guys hear him?
How's that?
Yes?
Oh, okay. So I can't hear him.
Yeah, I've been chatting this whole time.
I thought you guys were talking to each other.
Maybe I can leave the call and join. How about now?
You there?
Nope. I'll be darned.
Strange. I could try rebooting Discord.
Yeah, so the commentary. You guys can hear my commentary, right? Because if not, then I'm going to be upset. Okay, people can hear me. I just can't hear Zat. I'm not sure how that happened. Alright. Pichi making it out of 5-2. And Square One working on 5-4. So he's on the last level. All he's got
Can you hear me now?
to kill that bug and blow through the wall, which I don't think there's another one. Yep, he's got to start over. Game is very, very unforgiving as far as its. I mean, you can move left or right just to one space, and it can totally throw off your timing for the whole level. And this is going to be a really challenging. I mean, in the coming months, hopefully, you'll see this game run more. The strats are going to evolve, obviously. These guys had to come up with pretty much everything on their own over the past week, but you'll see a lot more analytics going on in this game just to try and see, what's going to end up happening. Oh. Pichi getting the diamonds, racing the bug. And now that's a pretty safe strat for blowing through that wall there. All he's got to do is push the boulder off one level onto its head. Unless, it seems to be on a, okay. So again, those bugs all move in a clockwise motion. So if that one got stuck in a loop and actually wasn't going to come over to where he needed it.
Can you hear me now?
This is one of the only games that I've ever seen that you can actually have a command to kill yourself. So you definitely know the devs knew how hard this game was going to be whenever they included that option. I will get Zat interviewed for you guys before we end the race. I need to figure out what's keeping me from hearing him. Well, tell you what, if you guys can hear Zat, then I will just answer the question. I'll just ask the questions, and then Zat, you can type something in the Discord whenever you're done answering it, and then I'll just watch the video later. How about that? But yeah, if you haven't already told the chat about it, how did you feel about your run? I mean, were nerves a factor? Because you seemed pretty stone cold, dude. Like, you had a few tough deaths, but, I mean, everything other than that, your movement was on point.
Yeah, definitely nerves got me. I mean, at the very beginning, I could feel them hardcore. But as I started to play and I was getting a little more comfortable with actually playing, like I'm warmed up and I'm race warmed up, then yeah, the nerves definitely calmed down a bit. But there were a couple of deaths that like, that shouldn't have happened. And it actually had never happened in any of my practices. So it was definitely a race nerve kind of thing. But for the most part, yeah, I was calmer than I thought it would be.
Okay, and there's something else that I wanted to mention. Xatmamune is actually a purist. He's an old school gamer. He doesn't use emulation, doesn't believe in it, and so he didn't have the added resource of being able to use save states. Now, I don't know if you have said anything, because obviously I can't hear you, so I'm just assuming you haven't said anything about this. But I mean, Zat doesn't use save states to prepare. So if he was trying to rehearse just, the end of the level, like with just the escape, he would have had to play through that entire level every single time he wanted to practice it. That definitely would have affected the way that he practiced. Zat, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I guess not having save states, it's not necessarily a better way to practice. I can't say it's better, obviously, since I haven't used save states to practice. But you did make a mention where being forced to play the level from the beginning every single time, whether you liked it or not, did kind of maybe hone my skills to the overall aspects of every part of every stage instead of just the tricky parts. So by being forced to play every part of every stage, that allowed my movement to get better quicker than maybe not having save states. Hard to say again, but yeah, it's really hard to say not knowing. But
I can hear you now, by the way.
oh, nice! Somehow it magically works.
My wireless headphones just lost signal and I guess cut off, so all I had to do was turn them off and on again.
Weird. It was just me that you couldn't hear.
It was just you. I mean, it's weird. I don't know. Thank you, Logitech.
But yeah, the nerves were definitely really tough for me at the start of this match. Like,
yeah, Pichi
like hyped this thing up so hard.
Yeah, well, Pichi's good at that.
Yeah, he's definitely a competitive one, just like I am.
Yeah, no, I love that though. Like, I mean, the absolute talent that has to be, and dedication. Because I mean, Skunky actually just asked how many hours that you practiced or grinded. Oh wow, look at this, Pichi. Move. Oh, he made it.
Oh, nicely done.
Nicely done. Okay, so Skunky asked how many hours you practiced. I don't know if you already answered, but I'm curious too.
No, I didn't see Skunky's mention of that. But as far as how many hours I practiced for this game, I didn't really keep track. But I easily put in at least an hour or two every day. And I think there were a couple of days I put in maybe 3 or 4 hours. And there was a day I didn't practice at all too. I think yesterday, I don't think I played at all yesterday.
How much of that was routing versus runs? Because, I mean, it took... I know Pichi was routing up until probably yesterday.
Yes, I routed until, I think, Friday. I think I did my first full run Friday.
Yeah. Wow.
But this game is definitely... If you can solidify your route early, then putting runs together is a lot more comfortable than just struggling trying to get a run done,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's really tough. I mean, Pichi had less chances to do practice runs, not as many of those. So I mean, that maybe has hurt his consistency just a little bit, because I saw him in practice and his routing was solid, and he was actually, his movement was really, really good. So it's either race nerves or just having to deal with the improvisation. Like right here, he just released one of the I don't know, what do you call those things? The little enemies. They're
like a cross between I would say an octopus and a mermaid. Like it has a spear and everything, or I don't know.
Yeah. But so how did you enjoy your second race? I mean, obviously you won last week. You've won again. That's a pretty big statement. Skunky won the previous, I think, 3 races before that. So it's going to be really interesting to see him get back into the races. He decided to rest up this week, but he's actually a very talented runner, and I can't wait to see you guys race again.
Yeah, these Sloth races have definitely been a great enjoyment for me. As you said, whenever you mentioned the save state thing, you told people I was an old school gamer. Well, that's true as far as also the types of games I enjoy. I'll play my NES 10 times more often than I'll play my Nintendo Wii U or something, or maybe the Xbox 360. But it's just something about growing up with the Atari and the NES that I love these kinds of games. So this has been a sheer pleasure, and then to be able to put my competitive nature to the test by playing against other people who also enjoy the same thing is just like icing on the cake. It's been a great time.
Yeah, I'm actually absolutely thrilled that we're able to start a new community. It was myself, Poison, Square One, another racer called Morvo, El Morvo, and Hockey Rules 21 that did the first Sloth race, and we didn't even think to really stream it on any particular channel, because we just did it for us. Like, we were just wondering, who would be best if they only had a week to practice. So I think the first race that we did was Speedy Gonzalez Los Gatos Bandidos, and I think Poisoncurls won that one, and then after that we was just like, let's do another one. But I mean, I think that's how all great things start. You just do it for you, and let the passion be your guide. And I think we've got a hit here, because we, like, every one of our commentators seems to want to come back and try a race after they end up commenting on their world record. That was the case with you and Snake Rattle and Roll when we left having you.
Yeah, the whole slogan of "by gamers for gamers" is kind of rings true.
It does. So everybody's still on World 5, Relic World. It's tough. I mean, they've got 1 and 2 down. I think
Poison got it though. I think he just passed into World 6.
you see the relief on his face.
Oh yes, definitely.
All right.
I mean,
what do you have? You have like 3 or 4 lives to start out with. What is it?
I think you start with 3 lives, so you can take 2 deaths, and then your 3rd death will warrant to continue. But every 1,000 or so points, you get an extra life.
Yep. So the first run through, you can actually build up lives in worlds 1 through 4 if you have those clean, and you can actually have those extra lives just as a little buffer, just in case you have a couple of hard deaths on the last 2 worlds.
Looks like Square is going to have to improvise here.
Yeah, he's going to have to go grab that other boulder off the top there. He got it. Let's see if he can get out of there. Nice, dude. Nice.
Another close one.
You can see, like, I love the look of relief on their face. All right.
Yeah, 5-4 is definitely a stressful one.
Yeah, Square One actually won our NES run of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that's how we met Skunky. Because Skunky wasn't even a commentator. I wasn't thinking about trying to get commentators at that point in time, but Skunky saw that we were running the game, and he came in and said hi, and that was our introduction to Skunky, who is the world record holder for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for NES. So I love the fact that this brings different communities together, because if you look at the speedrunning communities, they're usually their own self-contained thing. There's some overlap every now and then. Like there's some overlap between MMX and Donkey Kong Country, I think, from what I noticed from the Discords. But I mean, usually they're pretty self-contained, and every runner only has a few games that they run. But it seems like we've got a way to bring everybody together and let different communities have fun.
Now, when it comes to World 6, there are certain levels that are more annoying than others in certain ways. So I know that as of now, people have been opting to do, and I even did it myself, I ran every world 1 through 4, and I didn't deviate from that path. So World 6 is tricky enough to where there's potentially some thought into whether or not you should do certain other stages before instead of doing them sequentially, just to get harder ones, quote unquote, out of the way, because some of them could be harder for other people. Like, I think 6-2 is so challenging in certain ways where I was almost tempted to do 6-2 first, but I had enough lives. I just beasted through it in sequential order, but hard to say what these guys might do.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Poison trapping the bug there. That's really unfortunate, because I think he had it. That's like 1 frame either way, and he would have had it.
Yeah, the bugs, I think there's a couple frames where that bug can get trapped in that square, and it's definitely a sad time when it does, but there's certain visual cues. This game is loaded with visual cues where if you know exactly what spot to push the boulder where the spider stands, then you can nail it just about every time.
Yeah. Oh, wow. We got Game Stitch in the chat. Now,
I can't do it.
Pichi, you all right?
No. I don't think... I can't remember the last time I was this disappointed in myself.
Hey, man, it happens. It happens. You only had a week to learn the game, dude, so, I mean...
Put so much fucking time into this, dude. And Zad did no problem. We have, like, the same fucking strats almost.
I understand, man. I mean, you're still going to be able to... You can take the world record from Zat. I mean, we're going to start the speedrun.com page this week. We'll have him submit his run, and he'll be the first mod, I suppose. But, I mean, you guys can still battle over it. And I've actually been thinking about the idea of just doing reruns of games, like if the same 4 racers want to, have, I guess,
that's
the
fine.
Twitch equivalent of a web redemption. But we do have GameStitch in the chat. That's one of my friends. He runs a website called GameStitch.com. We've been friends since the 3rd grade. Thanks for visiting me, buddy. I see you tapping out, Pichi.
I can't do it. I forgot how to play. I don't know what can I do.
Just the race nerves?
I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. I did practice.
No,
It's nothing-
I know you
it
did.
wasn't
I
that
watched
big
you
of a
stream your
problem.
practice
I
all
know
week.
how you feel, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking put like over 20 hours into this week. Like more than that, like 30 probably.
Yeah, you streamed a lot of it too. I was watching you all week, dude. That's got to be really disappointing, but it doesn't take away from how great a runner you are. Guys, Pichi actually held the world record in Donkey Kong Country. If you haven't already, you should definitely give him a follow. And he's a very, very fun runner to watch. He has great commentary on his game. He was actually our commentator last week whenever we ran Donkey Kong Country. So, but we appreciate all your hard work, dude. Like, no, seriously. Don't be too hard on yourself. This is a tough game. And there will be other races. Yeah. Let's go back to the race. Pichi is tapped out at World 5. Or no, he looks like he's still running.
He's still giving it a go.
Okay. I believe, man.
Oh, Square got the spider trap just like Poison did earlier.
It's tough. Now, do you have a visual cue or an audio cue as far as the game goes about, how to do that?
Being that the enemies don't have any sound, so the only cues you can use off of enemies are visual cues. And so every time I use an enemy cue, it is a visual cue.
Okay. So what were you like if you were trying to do that? Like, what's your thought process? How do you go about it?
It's which square. I count tiles, so I count how many tiles the spider has moved. So once it's moved onto a certain square, that's my signal to, in my head, push the button to activate the digging. So whenever the skull falls, it'll fall on cue because I push the buttons at a certain time.
Got it. Nice. Yeah, both of them on 5-1. I mean, and if you're just joining us, we're doing Boulder Dash for the NES. This is a game that has not previously been run. So we're actually establishing a new speedrunning community and a new world record, which is now held by Xatmamune.
I was kind of hoping to get sub 20 for the race, and it actually happened. I was a little impressed.
Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, I mean, I forget what it was. Whenever Skunky's first time beating Snake Rattle and Roll, that would be your game that you commentated. The first time he ever beat that game was during the race, and that pop off was legendary. Skunky had quite the celebration with that.
Yeah, Poison's in the second gem area. If you're not careful in the second area, you can actually trap too many gems and not be able to complete the stage.
Yeah. I think you're allowed 1 or 2 not to collect on that area.
It depends on the route you take. Whenever we start 6-1, we actually don't go the normal intended route, and we skip an entire segment of gems, which means that in the second and third gem pool that we do pull from, we have to pull nearly every gem. If we had gone the intended developer route, there would be a plethora of gems extra.
Right. Very challenging game.
Like on Square's screen, down and to the right, we don't even go in that area.
And I have to research all of these games. Like, so I'm playing the game by myself off stream the week before you guys start learning it, just to see what's what with it, and trying to do my research so I can be a competent commentator. So I know exactly what I'm going to put you guys through.
Yeah, Poison, it looked like he trapped himself and only had 1 gem to go and was unable to continue.
I mean, and after these guys get through this, this is probably one of the easier ones. I mean, like as far as World 6 goes, how would you rank the levels in terms of difficulty?
Just in World 6 or in World 6 compared to the other worlds?
Well, let's do your top 3 difficult levels in the entire run. How about that?
All right, so for me, the most difficult level to actually run is 6-2. It's the level after the one those guys are on. It starts you off underneath some boulders that are already falling, and they're in a zigzag-like pattern. So it's not just as simple to dodge one. You've got to dodge 4 different falling boulders on different areas. So if you don't zigzag properly, and I think the race jitters got to me, I died 3 or 4 times on those falling boulders. Just couldn't nail it. And not only that, once you've dodged those boulders, you've got to kill at least 4 other spiders in certain areas. And if you don't get the right kills, you could actually soft lock and not have enough gems to finish. So I think 6-2 kind of holds my place as the most difficult stage in the entire game.
Okay. And I mean, so that's the one Poison and Square will be up against next.
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard to say whether or not 6-1, where it seems like they're struggling to get 6-1 done. Would it be better for them to do 6-2?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and you do have access to all 4 levels right off the bat, so you actually could go skip ahead to level 6-2 to get it out of the way if you were more worried about it. That is one strategy if you're worried you are going to fail.
That's what I did in World 2, because 2-3 I screw up a lot.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty smart. But I mean, I played this game for about 6 days. I wasn't able to get past. I think I saw Relic World once. And then I think I made some. I took a look at. I think it's 5-3 with all the zigzagging that you have to do, and I was just like, nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's definitely annoying. If you're not sure what to do with 5-3 and you're just gung-hoing it, it's so easy to think that this level is unfair.
This entire game is unfair.
I guess so, in a way.
So you said 6-2 is your top difficulty. Do you have a second and third?
Let's take a look here. I'd say 6-1. 6-1 has so many zigzag patterns that you have one square movement where one square you're moving right, one square you're moving down, and you have to zigzag in a pattern where if you don't do it right, or if you slip up, then a rock is crushing you, or a gem is crushing you. So 6-1 has so many finite movements that it probably ranks number 2 as far as difficulty, but fortunately, if you got the movement down, 6-1 is not as intimidating as some of the other stages like 6-2. So I think 6-1, the one that they're currently on, is probably my second hardest level.
All right, let's see if Poison gets the kill. Got him. See how well he knows the movement pattern. Pressure's on. Yeah, man, like all of Volcano World is tough. That amoeba swarm, like there's quite a bit of downtime as far as the amoeba goes. You want to talk about that a little bit, because it is random how the amoeba goes. Is there any way to sort of manipulate that or ensure a slower wait other than just making the surface area of the trap zone as small as possible?
Yeah, I think from what I understand, there's people who are doing a tool-assisted speedrun of this game, and somebody figured out that there is a bit of a pattern to the way the amoebas spawn. It's a little technical, and I wasn't sure exactly what was being discussed on the technical aspect of things, but the bottom line is you can manipulate amoebas to a certain degree. In a tool-assisted world, you can manipulate them exactly how you want, but in the real world, you can only manipulate them so much. So if you can get at least a couple of good patterns down, then the amoeba levels can actually be figured out to a point where there's little to no randomness to it.
Yeah, I know that up in Ice World, I think it's, 2-2?
Yeah, I think it's 2-3 actually.
Good,
I think.
2-3. But yeah, you gotta trap the amoeba down at the bottom in those mammoths, and I think it was you that messaged me and told me you'd find a way to do it with no RNG whatsoever.
Yeah, if you're able to move exactly without missing a frame. I think if you miss one frame on your movement, then it adds a little bit of wait time. But if you're on point with every frame, then you can get the amoebas to trap and create exactly the amount of gems you require to finish the stage, and you don't have to wait for them.
Yeah. I mean, you can, and you were talking about how you can buffer your movements too. As far as like you can hold down the next direction like a few frames before after you start moving, and you can actually buffer that movement. And I saw you using that a lot during the run.
Yeah, there's I'm not sure how many frames of actual movement is required to move from one square to the next, but once you've initiated the movement, your character cannot move again until they've reached the next square. So if you can move your controller in the anticipated direction, then you will be moving in that new direction as soon as you've finished the square you're moving to. So yeah, you can technically buffer just about every move in the game.
Nice.
So Poison got the required gems, but now it's a matter of getting out. That's another story entirely.
Yep. One more. He's thinking it through. He's thinking about it.
He does it right. It's actually pretty easy from here on out, but he just needs to wait for it.
Yeah. He's being super careful, though. But I think maybe it's time for me to go ahead and reveal next week's game and my rationale behind it. I wanted to do Star Fox. I had the world record holder, Low Key. He was all set to come in and commentate, but we had an emulation issue because there's quite a bit of lag in the game that the emulator does not recreate. So we weren't able to really to get everybody with a cart to be able to do that game, which was absolutely required. But I've always wanted to have it was like a rear view shooter slash flying game, and I think I found another game that has a similar mechanic, and it's for the Super Nintendo, and it's called Wild Guns. So that will be next week's game.
Wild Guns. If I'm not mistaken, that's quite a pricey cartridge. I don't have that one, but I do have a friend who has that one, so I might be able to let me borrow that one. I think I've actually borrowed it from him before. So
yeah, it is. And obviously you do have it on emulator, so if you can get a hold of the cartridge, we'd love to have you next week. But I'd really like to see that game run. And I don't know if you guys remember Star Surfer. He's I don't think he's in the chat now, but he was at the beginning of the race. He's probably in bed. But he's the world record holder in this game. And he's going to be here to talk about it with me next week. So you won't have to listen to just me.
that's cool. You got another world record holder lined up.
Oh, I would much rather have somebody that knows the game talk about it than just me. I mean, there was no record holder. I did message the task maker, the guy that made the task. I think his name is Control Alt Destroy. But he was the task maker for this game, and I did message him, so I did try, but I never got a message back. I think he might be inactive because I think his last task video for this game was made in 2014.
Looks like Poison's wrapping up 6-2.
Yeah. So after that, we'll see if he can contain the amoeba.
He's taking it extra slow.
Yeah, you don't want to die. You definitely don't want to die. Yeah, he's got it. He's only got two more levels.
Halfway there, and the amoeba level, if you know what you're doing, and the amoeba level is a free one.
If you have the movement down. How slow can you go in the amoeba level and still, be able to... Nice.
Well, it's not necessarily about speed. It's about how the amoebas are spawning. Necessarily is pretty much where all of it's at.
I think he's got it. He's thinking.
Well, it looks like he's got a pretty solid strat for the amoebas.
I think he's got it. Just don't release that. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what the amoebas decide to do, though.
Yeah. He might have it. He might be on to the last level. Square with the game over. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Dude, World 6 is so hard.
Yep. It's almost like the developer. And this is easy, too. I'm going to point this out. It's easy mode. After you beat this level... hey, Skunky. Thanks for hanging out, buddy.
Yeah, after you finish this quest, then there's a second quest, and then after that a third, and then they you know what, let's make it even harder, and they put a fourth quest in this game. What?
Yeah. It's rough, dude. It's so rough. Now that bug that Square just tried to kill, if you miss it on the first cycle, is there any way to avoid it?
Yeah, there's a path where it goes above you,
Okay.
and then you can go below, and then it repeats the cycle.
Okay. So
again, the amoebas, they seem like they're ready to go, but not quite yet.
Well,
Let's see what they decide to do.
You can't see the far side of the screen, so there might still be negative space that they're trying to fill up over there.
There's a couple times where I'm like, okay, I'm all set to go, and I'm waiting, and my timer's running out. I'm like, really? Did I miss a square? And I go back, and the amoebas have crept out in the middle of nowhere. And like, really?
Poison got it.
Nicely done.
Let's see if he has enough. Because I think it takes 65 diamonds to get out of this level.
Yeah, I think the way he was building his sand, I think he does have enough.
Yep. GG.
Now, the final one. If he doesn't die.
Whew. All right. Poison on the final level. And so this will be the second place time for speedruns.com.
It looks like he's got 4 lives to get this done.
Now this is basically just killing 5 bugs, right? In a way that he's got the first. So basically you blow down through 4 walls and you kill these 4 bugs right here. You just kill them as they're at the very bottom. Boom. Second one down. And that'll give you the diamonds you need. You have to kill a 5th bug to get out, right?
That pretty much sums it up.
Yep. There's 3. So far, so good.
And there are some backup strats if you miss the bug, but it becomes a lot harder.
Yeah. Got him.
Looks like he's nailed the visual cues on this stage, but now he just has to get out.
The last bug, I think, is probably the hardest one. Because you have to kill him while he's down in that little gully below. Got it! Boom!
Well played, Poison. Well played.
Good job, dude.
Woohoo!
You got it, dude.
Nice, dude.
It feels good, baby. It feels good.
Nice,
Well,
nice.
You're,
Sub-hour, too.
Yeah,
Yep, definitely under 1 hour.
it's not bad. I mean, it's
But
hard.
is Poison, was that your first fully completed run that you've ever done?
Yeah, dude, yeah. Yeah, I did a lot of practice and finished the game many times practicing, but I never completed a whole like speed run. You know what I mean? So, yep.
Yeah, I saw your 6'2" and your 6'4" were spot on, as well as your 6'3", so I could tell you were practicing those hard.
Yeah. Trying to get the end right, but then forgot all about the middle of the game, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Square, how you doing over there?
I've never beat World 6 without save states, and I don't think I can do it,
You tapping out?
unfortunately. I already forfeited on SRL.
All right.
GG to you guys.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
definitely a good game.
That's a good start to the community, though. I mean, we got 2 different runs in place for what are we going to call the category? Just the first loop?
Yeah, I guess either first loop or first quest. I'm not sure if the game or the manual refers to them as quests or loops, but maybe if we look at other games that have loops, I know Arkista's Ring has loops, so maybe if you see how they classified theirs, if Arkista's Ring has a section.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that will be on you. I mean, you're the guy with the world record video.
I guess I gotta go make a
Yeah.
speedruns account.
Yeah, speedruns.com. I mean, I would feel bad about submitting. I mean, I would be happy to submit it for you if you didn't want to. But I mean, like, whoever submits it, that's who they assume is the runner. I would have to try to, like, put a note in there saying that, this was a run done by you.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I've been to speedruns.com and somebody submitted my snake rattle and roll stuff, including my Twitch VODs for the records. So I'm not sure who did it, but somebody did it because I've never signed up for that site.
Okay. Well, we'll just have to look into it. But I mean, we'll get to kick off the community. Poison's got the second place video going on, and I mean, Pichi really is a great runner of this game. Like, he put in at least 20 hours worth of practice, and just
Yeah, I feel bad because I literally like stole his strats.
he did so much work on the routing of this game. He was one of the trailblazers, and to see the pressure get to him, it's pretty sad. But I mean, that is not indicative of the preparation that he did. He's really great at this game. I bet if he played it again off stream, he'd beat it easily.
Regarding the quest or whatever, like how many, like first quest or whatever, but like my screen right now, it says try the next level. So maybe they're just called levels.
So they're referred to as levels, and then there are worlds with stages in each world?
I guess so. I don't know.
That could all get very, very confusing. So, you guys want to talk about next week in Wild Guns?
So, if I'm not mistaken, is not Wild Guns has a two-player co-op?
It does have a two-player co-op. I was thinking about trying to make it a two-player co-op using the SNES Party website. I was thinking about that. We can try it. If you guys are each willing to run the game and commit to getting another person to run with you, you guys have a friend. I mean, I know you have your friend that has the cart that might be willing to run with you, Zat, right?
Yeah, it's the same guy I would be requesting to try it with me anyway. He's the one that owns it, or shall I say his brother does, but he has access to it. So I very may well could do a two-player run of that game, but I wouldn't know until a couple days from now. I know you're going to want to give 2 weeks notice, is what you said, right?
I want to give 2 weeks notice. So I was thinking about doing a single player run to get used to the game, and then maybe co-op after that to start.
I got no friends.
Well, you don't.
Yeah, same.
You don't have to. Well, Poison and Square could actually run the game together using SNES Party.
All right, deal.
There is. Okay,
Sounds good.
Yeah. So obviously you'll have to practice. And if both of you guys decide to be runners for next week's race, then you'll have more time to either recruit somebody else or, I don't know if that would be acceptable to do the same game twice in a row, but I mean, it would be co-op 1 week and then single player the first.
Hard to say if this would be a good one to pick for that, because isn't it a relatively auto-scroller-ish game to some degree?
It's based on how fast you kill the enemies. The bosses really determine everything, really. Because there are bosses, and those are not auto-scrollers. So really, but again, there is the death factor, because so you can die during the levels, and that will cost you time. But I mean, if you master the levels and the boss fights, then you'll have a pretty good run. And obviously, I'll have Star Surfer in here to talk more about it. I'm gonna message him in the Discord or whatever, and add him back to the prep channel. That way he can provide you guys with advice. But I mean, maybe for the first time we should just do a single player run of the game, and then maybe we can revisit later and do a co-op. There's a lot of different games that we can do as far as co-op goes, like Goof Troop, Turtles in Time. There's endless games where you can play two player. So I'm not worried about like the number of games, but I haven't even used the service yet, so maybe we should give me a chance to message the creator of SNESparty.com and actually play through a game with him. That way I can see how it works. But single player I think would be great, and I am fairly sure you can emulate this too.
Well, it's good for people who don't own the cartridge, because the legit cartridge can go for $300 on eBay.
Yeah, so I mean, you can definitely emulate it though. I wish Star Surfer goes to bed pretty early. He's got to work tomorrow, but yeah, I'll post the emulator whenever I pull it up. But I think this is where we end it. It was a good time, everybody.
Good race, everyone.
Yeah, we got a new world.
Yeah, it was fun. GG.
Congrats to Zat and Poison. But everybody watching, thanks for hanging out. We appreciate the support. Hockey, love you, buddy.